Today we have seen some footage of Outpost Rush for Amazon's New World. Now that's basically the PvP battleground, except it's not pure PvP, there's quite a bit of PvE in it as well. Now the footage we've seen comes from two different sources. IGN have a little bit of a gameplay preview, but there's also been an explanation of the basic mechanics posted on Twitter by New World themselves. Now we don't actually learn that much in these videos that wasn't written down in the news update that Amazon did, I think maybe way back in February or something like that, but it is nice to see it in gameplay. But there were a couple of things to note, one of them being that it looks like that the way that you enter into Outpost Rush is at a specific location and then you're going to queue up there. Now the gentleman on IGN said that his queue lasted about 30 minutes. Obviously this I believe is an alpha footage and we don't really know that the population is going to be anywhere near representative of a live server. Now the game that was played lasted about 30 minutes, but there's actually two different conditions for the game ending. One of them is that the one team will reach 1,000 points and the other is that the game will end because of the timer and then whoever's got the most points will win. And I believe that timer is probably set to about 45 minutes. I actually couldn't see if that was written down anywhere, apologies if it was. Now a couple of people who've watched the IGN footage for example will notice that yes, the gentleman does say that he does have a spotty connection, but some of the animations do look a little bit weird. Specifically there's a scene with a bear that looks very strange. Now he did say that he was experiencing rubber banding and he did say he was on a dodgy connection, so hopefully those issues are actually tied to that. It's unlikely I think that the guy was running like a really bad computer. It's probably internet issues. Hopefully these issues, if there are any, will not exist in the beta and definitely not in the live game. Now the main game has 3 outposts that you basically want to hold, and then once you hold them you can upgrade them. You can upgrade the gate so it's harder to get in, you can put like a command center that gives you a buff, you can do something that allows you to respawn there. Obviously holding all 3 positions is going to be difficult. The game sort of reminds me a little bit of Arathi Basin crossed with Alternate Valley, because you're going to have these forts that you're going to want to get and hold, but there's also quite a few like PvE elements involved. For example, you get Azov when you kill enemies, basically, I think NPCs rather than other players. You can then use this Azov to either buy like little upgrades, or you can maybe even buy a summoning stone which will allow you to summon a monster that's going to fight on your side. Or you can spend the Azov to go to the corrupted portal, and then whatever faction gives the most Azov, or I think it actually has to be like a specific amount, I think they may have said 500, then you get to summon a big boy brute who's obviously going to fight for you as well. Now it wasn't quite clear if you get Azov from gathering, but I think the gathering is going to enable you to upgrade your fort, so there is still a bit of like PvE, like actual gathering and crafting rather than PvE in terms of like the AI enemies, which is interesting. So I think it works like this basically. You've got 3 forts which obviously you're going to want to hold as many as you can, and then there's 3 like areas of interest in terms of like mechanics. One is a summoning circle, where if you have a summoning stone, which I think you can buy using Azov, then you can go and like get a little, let's say small to medium monster to fight on your side. Another one is the corrupted portal, whereas if you give an X amount of Azov as a whole squad, you manage to summon a big boy brute. And then lastly, and possibly more interestingly, is Baroness Hane. Now Baroness Hane is whoever gets the final blow, you get a buff and rewards like that, but it also stops the other team collecting points for X amount of time. The Baroness Hane one, it's whoever gets the final blow gets that reward, but I do think you get buffs if you do a lot of damage. Some of this wasn't quite explained. Weirdly, there is way more PvE elements than even I expected when I read the blurb from New World on the website. Those PvE elements are interesting, but I personally would like maybe a battleground that was like pure PvP, like a Warsong Gulch, or you know, like an actual just capture the flag. And the guy who was playing it for IGN did say he's not 100% sure he would be that interested 50 or 70 times around if you played it that often. But I'm very happy that it's in the game, like having this battleground that you can literally just go and queue up at any time, try and get a game if there's enough players, and you know, play a PvP game without having to stress about, you know, getting the right squad and stuff like that. It's just 20 versus 20. For me, it's very interesting. But yeah, that's it. Have a most beautiful day. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.